Yo, what's up, everybody? We're back. It's Rob and Vishal. We got Buttendz Sessions, and today we're really excited. We have a special guest, Matt Meinzer. He's the owner and founder of Tippo 9 Hockey Shop down at the end of the world in Argentina. He's our guest for today, and we're really excited to have Matt on the show. It's actually a pretty cool story. Matt and I grew up in the same hometown from Buffalo, New York, and we didn't actually meet until I was down playing last year at the Fin del Mundo in Argentina, and I got to meet Matt and found out that he built and created a pro shop down in Argentina. And so we're really excited to have Matt on the show today. Tell us his story and tell us how he came to owning a hockey shop in a unique location like Argentina. So thanks a lot, Matt, for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's always fun sharing the story of hockey in Argentina and especially in Ushuaia. And I think that every day more and more light comes to the fact that there's more and more hockey in South America than people really know about. And it's just fun sharing it and getting more eyes and attention on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a great experience there. I didn't even know about it until a few years ago that there was this vibrant hockey community in Argentina, and I got to experience it myself last year. But take us back a little bit. You grew up same as I did in Buffalo, New York, playing hockey basically down the street from where I grew up. And we never. It's funny, we never actually met until you and I met in Ushuaia. But tell us a little bit about growing up playing hockey in Buffalo, New York, and how it all started for you.
Yeah, so you know well enough that there's a lot of pond hockey in Buffalo, and I grew up right down the street from Ives Pond and had a small pond in my backyard too. So we're pond hockey kids, you know, and it's interesting going from here to Ushuaia, which is also a pond hockey area. It's people don't realize how cold it is sometimes. They think everything's gets warmer after Florida.
Yeah, no, 100. I mean, even I myself, you think of South America and you don't necessarily think of ice and pond hockey and things like that. You think warm climates, jungle, you think about Brazil and things like that. But as you get obviously close to Ushuaia is literally a stone's throw away from Antarctica. So obviously there's a big ice community down there. So growing up in Buffalo, New York, what took you on your path to, running a hockey shop in Argentina? How'd you end up there?
Yeah, so when I was done in Buffalo, I decided to move to New York City to coach in New York City. I started coaching at the Staten Island Skating Pavilion. Spent about 10 years there coaching ice hockey, and realized that there's more people in the world that need a good coach, and found my way down to South America. Didn't know what I was going to do. I just wanted to go see it, you know, and I started off in Ecuador actually. And from Ecuador, just kept traveling south and kept traveling south until I ended up at the end of the earth and fell in love with it and stayed, you know. It's an interesting path, you know, but what are you going to do? Like, you know, the hockey gods have a place for everybody. And apparently mine's at the end of the earth.
Yeah, I can see why. I mean, just having the opportunity last year going down there to play in the Fin del Mundo and to be a part of that community just for the week that I was there, I can see why once you got there, it's quite a place. It's an amazing place to obviously to live, I'm sure. But, the hockey community was what I was drawn to and the way that the whole town kind of supports what's going on there. What's really cool, too, is that the tournament is in August, well, July, August, which is the winter down there. So, while the Northeast, basically where we come from, is boiling hot in the summer, we're down there playing on the ODR right in the middle of town. So, were you originally going down there as a coach to, help out the young players, or what was the purpose for you originally of like going to that specific spot?
Well, my carpentry mentor he's a world traveler, and he kept returning back to Ecuador. I was like, well, you go everywhere. Why keep going back to Ecuador? He said, it's beautiful. I love it there. So I decided I was going to go with him, build some bamboo houses and huts and work with him. And since I was going, I was like, well, I'm a hockey coach, you know, I'm going to look it up and see where the hockey is. And I fell in love with coaching down there. If you play hockey in South America, you really, really love hockey. You know, it's very
Absolutely.
difficult. Yeah, it's very difficult to get sticks and equipment. So if you put your time and effort into getting these things and playing the sport, you really love it. And the culture kind of dragged me in, and I fell in love with it. You know, we don't have parents who are screaming at referees. We don't have all those things that, you know, I've been trying to get away from in hockey and trying to coach people out of, and it just doesn't exist there. So I just kind of, you know, I fell in love with it.
It's really cool that it's funny that you mention it like that. As far as like when you go to these like no, I call them like I guess non-traditional hockey markets. Like Vishal and I talk about this all the time because Vishal's from India. I met Vishal playing in a non-traditional hockey market up in Leh, where it's the same kind of thing. You're lucky to have a referee. You're not going to have the people like getting on the referee for making bad calls. You kind of just shrug it off, things like that. And also too, it's cool that the first place you went was Ecuador. That's another place that people don't really think of as having hockey. I actually was fortunate enough to play there as well. I'm sure you and I bumped into a lot of the same people. Shout out to my man Fabian, who runs the program down there in Ecuador, and got to skate with Fabian and the group down there and do some coaching with some of the kids. And it's very rewarding, like you mentioned, as a coach, to go down there and to see the way that people appreciate. When I found that people really appreciate when people from North America who are surrounded by hockey, like we have 100 rinks in Buffalo, but to go down there and to put the spotlight and to put your attention into these smaller communities, you get a lot of love from the local people there, that are traveling from far distances and going through a lot of turmoil to try to find ice and to actually play the game that we all sometimes take for granted being from Buffalo, because there's so much hockey here. So that's really cool. So Ecuador, how long were you in Ecuador coaching with those guys?
I was in Ecuador for about 3 years before moving on from there. I met my future wife there. She's from Argentina, and so we left together. But yeah, it was about 3 years. I was working with the guys in Quito when they had the ice rink in the shopping mall. And there's actually two. I don't know if you may have seen the smaller one, but there used to be a slightly bigger one. It was like 3/4 of a real rink, and the men played 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, but the kids could play full ice. And but yeah, Ecuador I have a huge spot in my heart for Ecuador. I still want to return there and see everybody. I miss everybody so much from there.
When I was there, they had the one rink in the mall. I didn't, and it was pretty small. I don't remember playing on a bigger rink. They did actually, I don't know, since you were there, the roller community is actually kind of a little, maybe even a little bit more popular than the ice community. And they had a full size rink that they purchased, I think, from somebody in Las Vegas. So they brought all the boards and the glass down, and they had a full, basically NHL sized roller rink. And we had some pretty intense roller hockey games in between the session that we did at the mall. But we did get to skate and play in like a Saturday night pickup game at the mall. And it was crazy. People were coming in from the mall, like locals, to like watch us play the Saturday game. It was like kind of epic. But I agree, man. I would love to get back in and skate there. And so you mentioned you met your future wife, who was an Argentinian, a woman in Ecuador. Is that correct? And then you guys, what? You decided to say, all right, we're going to keep going south and head down to the end of the world, or what happened from there?
Yeah, so I actually opened a restaurant while I was in Ecuador, making chicken wings and pizza.
Oh, wow, good Buffalo boy.
So I needed a waitress when we first opened, and she was traveling and needed a job. And so when she walked in, I kind of fell in love at first sight. And I told everyone, don't say nothing, but I think that's my future wife.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
A few months, a month and a half later, she kissed me first, so I wasn't weird about it.
So yeah,
But yeah,
okay.
and it was time to move on and try something different. There's all over South America. There's these stories of this ice rink in Ushuaia. Everyone knows about it because it's the only full-size ice rink in all of South America. In the rest of the country, like you were saying, roller hockey is much more prevalent, much bigger because you don't need refrigeration. It's a little bit easier to get people out, and it's a warm climate type sport. But that's why the stories of this rink in Ushuaia were so big. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go down there and check it out. And again, like, I don't know how long I'm staying for, I just want to see it. And
Yeah.
I got stuck there, I started coaching and I fell in love with the kids and yeah, man, and like as you were saying before, how everyone enjoys when someone comes down to like help out. It's there's a lot of people fiending for information. These guys, when I first got there, one of the first drills I ran was called the Gretzky. I don't know if you know the Gretzky. You have two guys behind the nets. They can't leave behind the net. You have to pass it to them first, and then they feed it back out, like in Gretzky's
Yeah.
office.
Standard.
After that drill, I was like, oh, that's a great drill. What is a Gretzky?
Really? Yeah.
So like, okay, so let's start back at the beginning, and get more information out and watching games too. We're trying to find illegal feeds to watch the games, and now there's a little bit more access for them to be able to see the games and to be, to get more involved in learning the sport, especially now with Instagram and everything else, and coaches dropping their knowledge on the internet. It's been growing a lot quicker in the 5 years or now 6 years that I've been in Ushuaia. the development is insane. It's gone up so much from what is a Gretzky to working a cycle in the attack zone, and it's just unreal to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I got to experience it firsthand last year to see the tournament up close and play. And like honestly, man, I was playing in the B division for Team Peru, and I saw we played against the team, one of the A division teams. I think that was at your team, or was it the team you were coaching? I don't remember. But the puck movement was like, I'm like, man, these guys can play. Like this is legit, you know. Like these guys are buzzing down here. But for me, I didn't even know about it. I was totally, in the dark about what was really happening down there and the excitement. But I got to Puerto Rico, and my boy Painter, who like runs Hockey Puerto Rico, was telling me about, he was down there 10 years ago, did an article for the Hall of Fame magazine, as a matter of fact. And I remember him telling me, oh, there's this beautiful outdoor rink in Ushuaia, and it's the Fin del Mundo tournament in the summer. And he's like, oh, and then there's this American guy who just so happens to do custom wooden hockey sticks, and he has a pro shop down there. And he's telling me about this. This is like 5 years ago when I first got to Puerto Rico, and I put it on my bucket list. Like I gotta check this out with my own eyes. Like I gotta see what this is about. And I didn't know you. I didn't know anything about it. But he told me about this guy who's making these wooden sticks, and he has a pro shop, and there's this tournament. So fast forward, I ended up there last summer, and lo and behold, I'm in the locker room after a game, and you and I bumped into each other, and we're both like, you're from Buffalo, and I'm from Buffalo, and like what? And you're the guy that he was talking about. And so I know you mentioned earlier in the pod here that you were a carpenter. Is that correct? So
Yeah,
my question, I guess,
yeah.
is like, so how did you? Is that what led to it? You're a carpenter, and then you got into making hockey sticks for people, and started the business in Ushuaia. How'd that all come about?
Well, the idea started when I was in Ecuador. For example, my first week in Ecuador, I broke my stick. Not knowing any better, I'm thinking, oh, I'll just get a new stick. And everyone's like, where? What do you mean you're going to get a
Yeah,
new
right.
stick? You can't get a new stick. You're going to order it from Florida or something. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize. Like, how would I have thought of that? So right away, me and one of the other coaches talked about, hey, maybe we can make sticks. I'm a carpenter, I can figure it out. And we actually made the first ones in Ecuador. As I was actually building furniture for a different restaurant. That was my job in Ecuador, is I was building furniture. And so I was using some scrap wood to try out making a stick. And in Ecuador, it was just way too heavy. Long story short, I tried it a few times on my way down. I tried it again in Peru. I tried it again in the north of Argentina, in Cordoba. And then I was like, well, maybe because I can't get the wood that I need. Maybe it's not going to work out. But I saw this problem. I saw this: kids didn't own their own stick. They were borrowing
Yeah.
sticks from the club or from adults, and the stick was way too long, or it was the wrong curve, or it was broken. Like, this has to happen. And when I got to Ushuaia, they have a wood called lenga. It's incredibly light, flexible, and strong. And we started making sticks in Ushuaia, and it worked out perfectly. And it helped grow everything, because the kids would borrow a stick from the club for the 1 hour of class, give the stick back, and then somebody else would use the stick for the next class and the next class. And they didn't go home with their own stick. They weren't playing pond hockey because they didn't own their own stuff. So I actually started making sticks and wooden hockey pucks, because there were no pucks either. The club had
What, you made
about,
them from wood?
yeah, because there was no pucks. So the kids needed something to slap around on the pond. So, oh yeah, that first few years was just pumping out as many kids junior sticks as possible, and wooden hockey pucks. And then during the year of COVID, I really got to like break it down. Like, how can I make these lighter? How can I make the blades better? The curves, more like, this is actually an 88. This is actually a 92. And yeah, during that whole year of COVID, everything progressed. And now you see, like, every kid has their own stick, and most kids start off with one of our sticks. And then if they stay with the sport, then they, convince their parents into ordering a composite stick for them, or carbon stick for them. But
Wow,
most
man, that's
kids
amazing.
start with a wooden stick, and some are still using them.
I mean, that's such a great story. And like it reminds me of when I was a kid and I used to try to figure out ways to make like mini hockey balls and set up my own rinks to just keep the game going alive when you're not at the rink. For you to do that to the kids, for the kids and the players in Ushuaia to like really, help grow the game. Because like you said, there's something different about leaving and going home with your stick. As everybody knows, you kind of form an attachment to it, and you're able to kind of dribble and stick handle in your basement or whatever you know at home. It like creates much more of a gets you hooked on the game a little more. So for you to provide that, that's great. I didn't know that you were doing that. So then you went from the sticks. Did you already have the shop at that moment, or is that where you were like, I'm going to provide services other than just the sticks, or how did it lead to Tipo 9?
Well, yeah. So um, I got the job as a carpenter, and I one night, because my wife wasn't there yet. I went by myself, and I said, if things go smoothly, come on down. I was living at a hostel, and one night, because I had nothing else to do, I stayed there all night long, and I made my first hockey stick there. And in the morning, the guys all came into work and like, what are you still doing here? And I was like, well, I made this,
Yeah.
and that was the first stick. Well, me and my partner, it's his workshop. That's when they decided to actually hire me on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was just doing like side jobs for a little while, but that's when he first hired me on. And when we were trying to come up with a name for the hockey sticks, we were working 7 days a week. Uh, on Sundays, we would go in at 9, tipo 9, tipo nueve, like 9 in the morning, because every other day, 7:30, 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock. But on Sunday, tipo 9,
Yeah, right on.
especially in Argentina, tipo means type, but you can also use it as 9 o'clock or something like that. Like you can use it tipo, whatever. So it became a Spanglish thing that was kind of a joke, but worked out as a good name for the stick company. And I also made a skate sharpener out of scrap metal. I had carried. The weird thing is, when I left New York, I brought a sharpening disc with me, not knowing if I was ever going to use it or if it was ever, But I backpacked with it for years until I finally made this skate sharpener, and that's how it all started. I had a homemade skate sharpener. I was making wooden hockey sticks, and from there we built up and built up, and now we have a nice Blade Master skate sharpener, and we're just trying to grow and grow. And now I'm doing glove restorations. We're making neck guards. We're trying to get access to everything that we possibly can down for these kids to make it so that they actually have like an actual hockey pro shop.
That's amazing. What do you think has been the biggest change that you've seen in the community in Ushuaia since you've arrived between then and now? Like, how do you see the sport growing, and what do you think?
Well, like I said a little earlier, having access to owning your own stick and having a pro shop with it, we're sharpening skates, and they never used to sharpen their skates. They would just play on them. So they now have their own sticks. They're practicing at home. They're playing pond hockey. They actually be able to hold their edge when we're doing power skating clinics and classes. The more kids have joined on. I think like almost 100 kids a year for the first 3 years I was there were jumping onto hockey, and it went from somewhere about 100 kids in the area to now somewhere around 500 players in Ushuaia. And just watching not only the amount of people playing, but the skill level has gone up so much. And I think that's not it's a huge part of everything. There's the national selection team. These guys, they come down once a year. The Copa Mundo is getting bigger. There used to be 3 women's teams. Now there's 6 women's teams. Like everything has been growing, and the competition's been getting stronger. And it's going pretty quickly. Like these kids are really good athletes, and they just needed a little bit of help to bring it to where the level should be.
Yeah, and you can see why. Like I remember when I first got down there, I literally didn't know what I was going into. And like you get into Ushuaia and the community is like this amazing, it's almost like a European ski village kind of has like almost that feel to it. And then there's this unbelievable gem right in the center of town, an outdoor rink. There's no pipes, right? It's all is there pipes?
Yep. Yes,
Well,
there
okay,
is.
either way, but like the climate during the August tournament was like near perfect for ODR. There's no roof, so it's like you're outside. Like we get snow. We had the one day like where we had a near blizzard. My first game last year in the Copa Mundo was like near whiteout conditions in the middle of the night with under the lights. If you're a hockey fan and you love like we did growing up playing on the ponds, playing on the ODR, I mean this is like a world class ODR right in the middle of this amazing village. And you can really see why the game is growing, and it's a testament to what you're doing. You're obviously a big part of that, and it's so cool that you're bringing the culture of, like you mentioned earlier, you're bringing Buffalo with you, the roots that you have. Starting a pizza shop and a wing shop, and obviously you didn't serve ranch. I'm assuming, right?
Oh no, blue cheese only, bud.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, man, that's so cool, and I got to see it firsthand. And another thing that really struck me was, first of all, the way that the community down there, well, not only just was so warm and welcoming, the way that the community in Ushuaia accepted me and brought me in, like at the end of the tournament with everything that we did, and then just to see what a big part of the community that you are and the store is. You know, providing the sticks and the pucks early, and then now doing the sharpening for everybody in town. It's a testament to you, and I was excited to meet you, and just to I remember hearing about you before, and I think it's great what you're doing. What's next for the not only Fin del Mundo but hockey in that region? Where do you see it going?
Well, the continued growth is definitely on the, on the forefront. We want to be able to provide more services and more things in the pro shop. I'm even having help from people up here and in Ottawa at B Sharp Ottawa Pro Shop. He's been helping me out so much, giving me more discs and helping me get riveters and other things that can help fix skates and more blades and stuff. Because we've been welding blades together. When a blade breaks, we weld it back together to get the kids back on the ice. So we just need more services and more things for the pro shop to help, keep the progression going and just enjoying it. I mean, you don't want to like change the culture. You want to guide and help it. You know what I mean? Like they have a beautiful hockey culture. They're all on their own. I'm just there to help. That's it. It's just watching it grow all on its own, and just being there for it. It's just been amazing.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, like it was some of the most exciting hockey that I ever played was in the like we made it to the finals of the B division last year, and there was like a huge crowd under the lights for the game, and I'm just like, man, this is insane. It's so cool to be a part of it. That's unbelievable. So what's something that you like to think that you bring from like your Buffalo hockey experience to Argentina and vice versa? What would you like to bring from Argentina into North America, like from the hockey culture side of it?
Well, I really think that a lot of people could learn from Argentina and all over South America and the attitude that they bring to the ice, the passion that they have, but not only that, but like the way that the fans are, it's all positive. There's no negativity up there or down there. I'm sorry, down there. But the fans are there to watch a game. They're there to have fun. The players are there to enjoy hockey. Like it's a privilege to be able to play this sport. You know what I mean? And I think people forget
100%.
that sometimes. I think people forget sometimes like how big of a privilege it is to be able to play this sport. And the people down there, they actually know that. They get that it's a privilege. They understand that they're very, very fortunate to be able to play. And I think that that could be brought in a little bit to like bring a little bit more peace and understanding to like that the sport. I feel like how like roller hockey is in the United States, where it's a little bit more chill around the rink, and ice
Yeah.
hockey is a little bit more. I think a little bit of that relaxation and like and enjoying being around the rink from roller hockey could transfer a little bit more into ice up north a little bit, and everyone would be having a lot more fun. And then in
Yeah.
bringing any things from Buffalo down, I mean, just I think the more coaching, the more information, and that's really it. Just give them the information, let them run with it. This is how programs run in the United States. This is how programs run in Canada and Europe, and just give it to them and let them take it and let them decide what it is that they want to pick and choose and share from it. And I think that's what I've been just trying to do is just show everyone, where I came from, the hockey that I grew up with. I mean, I've been on the ice literally my entire life, and if I can just like drop little nuggets of information and let them run with it, that's all I feel like that's why I'm there.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. It's a truly inspiring story to hear you tell it. Vishal, what do you think? As you know, obviously growing up playing in India, way up north in Leh in the Himalayas, obviously not a traditional hockey market. Like, do you see some similarities? Does it sound like, or what do you think?
Yeah, one of the things that Coach Matt pointed out, I mean, when he was in Ecuador, there were no pucks. That reminded me of the time we went to Pangong Lake. You remember that, Rob? We were out
Oh
there.
yeah,
We had like one puck and we tossed it so far away, and it was hard to get it back. But yeah, so lots of similarities like that. I mean, lots of humility. We know that playing hockey is a privilege, and we don't take it. Most of the players in north of India or in India, of course, don't take it for granted, and we understand that it's a privilege, and we've talked about it time and time again, Rob. Yeah, so that's also very similar. Yeah, I see a lot of similarity in weather conditions also. Only thing that we miss in India, I think, is or we miss out on in India is nighttime hockey. So we're not really ever playing hockey at night with, when there's a light out outside and only the stadium lights on. But it's usually daytime hockey or early morning hockey because then, the sun comes out and all of this ice starts to melt and all of that because we don't have pipes. We have natural ice only. And so that's the only thing that I think we're missing out on from South America. And I think that would be one thing that I'd want to experience going to South America and playing.
Si Dios te permiten. Lo siento, mi español no bueno. So, Matt, what's your plans to head back to Ushuaia and get back into the upcoming season here?
Yeah, so I've been home visiting family. It's the first time in almost 10 years that I'm back seeing everybody in Buffalo. So I took a nice long vacation, but I do go back. I leave on Sunday to head back down there. We have about 3 months before the ice season, so we're starting up our dry land training and our continuing with the roller hockey that they've been already started for the last few weeks, and just getting right back into it. I got to build the next group of sticks for the kids and keep things rolling. But I think this is going to be a really, really beautiful season. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to get teams down from the United States, as the peso and everything is still low, but the dollar value, everything has changed since the last few years. So it might be a little bit more expensive for North American people to come down than it was last year. But we're going to do our very best to bring down groups of people. The Friendship League always comes down. They have a great group of expats that come down and offer their time on the ice, coaching with the kids, and we play a tournament with the locals, and just trying to get every year. My goal is just to bring some excitement to the area, so we're not just playing against ourselves and preparing for the Copa Fin del Mundo, but we have some competition. So if I can just keep that rolling every year and just keep trying to get better services, and that's all I can really do, and just enjoying it.
Well, that's great, man. And like I said, it's one of my favorite experiences. I'm really hoping to have a repeat this year. Obviously, we got to come back. I mean, we won the title. So the Peru Alpacas are coming back to defend the title. So I'm hoping to be a part of it. And also, like we talked, I'd love to get you guys some Buttendz grips for the shop and for the sticks, too. The grips are great on the wood sticks. And I think it would be great for the kids. So anywhere I go in the world, it's always nice to have something cool and new and unique, especially from the players, from North America, for players who might not have access to it, maybe in India, for example. Also, like in Quito and all these other places. So I know you're in Buffalo right now. I'm in Buffalo right now, heading to Minnesota. But maybe we can meet up, and I'll hook you up with some grips for some of the players down there, and then hopefully see you again, hopefully in July, August this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a really great thing that you're doing because, for example, it is hard to get tape down there, right? So kids don't change their tape as often as they should, because you have to get a new roll and it's going to cost you some money. Being able to put a butt end on the end of a stick and having that for the life of the stick, I mean, that right there is just it's a gem for places like that are outside of the the north. So I think it's a really great thing you're building up there, and I can't wait to see how big you get too, bud.
Cool, man. Yeah, it would be my pleasure to work with you. My pleasure to work with you for sure. And I want to show you too, man. I brought this back. I still have it. I got my Jugador Más Valuoso, the Hombres B. That you made this, right? This is one of your, because it's got your Tipo 9 on here. Tipo 9. Hockey Ushuaia. So there we go, man. That's unbelievable. One of my coolest hockey moments right here, man. So thanks a lot for that. And yeah, Matt, thanks a lot for coming on the show. Buttendz Sessions, we're really honored to have you on here. I wish you the best. Good luck heading back down south, and hope to see you this summer in the winter in Argentina. And good luck with Tipo 9.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. Both of you guys, thanks so much. It's just really, it's always great to talk to people about hockey. I could do that all day, and especially I'm so passionate about what's going on down in Ushuaia and the rest of South America. So anytime I get to talk about it, it always gets my cheeks rosy. So I appreciate it, guys.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for coming on. Great time, great show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Another Buttendz Sessions in the book, and we'll see you guys here next week. And thanks again to Matt for coming on as our guest this week from Tipo 9. Appreciate it.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.